What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy SB back with another sports break. Now, I started watching the game of baseball at a very young age. Grew up watching Barry Bonds, one of the best hitters ever. Grew up watching Roger Clemens, one of the best pitchers ever. Also grew up watching Alex Rodriguez, one of the most versatile baseball players that ever lived. But besides being dominant at their position in their era, those guys also proven to be flaming hot cheaters. And baseball from a long time has been known as a cheating man's sport. But it seems like it's a fluid thing that's happening in the sport, where if you're going to be one of the best in your era, one of the best in your position, you got to have some kind of unfair advantage going for you. Rather it be in a camera out in center field, rather it be banging on trash cans, or whether it be using sticky substance in your hands to control a pitch better. It seems like this sport has been trifled with cheating scandals and players not really being the most honest guys on this earth. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything that's going on with the sticky substance situation and the solution that the MLB has come up with to implement in the middle of the season this year. So if this is the type of content that you like, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And other than that, let's get into the video. This whole situation started with Josh Donaldson of the Minnesota Twins noticed that Garrett Cole, along with other starting pitchers in the MLB, have a lower spin rate all of a sudden on their pitches, mostly being the fastball. He decided to throw a red flag on these situations and put some of these pitchers on the spotlight of using foreign substance can help them control their pitches. Now, when Garrett Cole was asked about this situation, he had a less than truthful answer. I want to play that soundbite for you guys so you can hear it directly from the horse's mouth.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. I mean, there are practices that have been passed down from older players to younger players, from the last generation of players to this generation of players, and I think there are some things that are certainly out of bounds in that regard, and I stood pretty firm.
Now, he obviously sounded like a flaming hot liar. And not only did he throw past players under the bus, he tried to resolve himself from the situation. And not to mention, he never directly answered the question. So it's pretty obvious that he's probably guilty of using some kind of substance to control his pitches. Now, from the year of 2016 to current year, Garrett Cole's spin rate on his four-seam fastball has steadily increased in RPM. That means the spin rate is getting faster and faster, and there's no explanation for it besides using a different substance. We've also had players like Trevor Bauer who come out and blatantly admitted to using foreign substances to help them control pitches. Now, baseball is a sport to where it's like if you're cheating, you're cool as long as you don't get caught. Or you're cool as long as nobody points it out, which was what happened with this situation. When it came down to the steroid situation, people were a little more lenient on it because it made the game more fun. It made the game more entertaining to watch. Back then, people tuned in to see long balls being hit. Nobody's really tuning in to watch batters strike out 10 times a game, 17 times a game, and nobody wants to see starting pitchers have those high amount of strikeouts. For me, that's not really good for the sport. That's not really what we tune in to see. We tune in to see the long balls in high-scoring baseball games. So what the league is planning to do is incorporating a new system to where they enforce the rule that's been in the rule book for a long time. Part of the problem with pitchers using controlled substances is that it has been a rule in the rule book, but no one's been enforcing it. Like they know that these situations have happened, but no umpire is going to throw out a Garrett Cole or a Trevor Bauer out of a game when they're the starting pitcher in that game, even though they're using these substances to help them control their pitches. So the MLB has formulated some kind of plan to help alleviate these situations. And I got all the rules and the stipulations that they're going to be implementing within the next 2 weeks. So you guys stay buckled. I got you on that. All right, so apparently it's been a situation where players been turning in other players once they notice something wacky going on the mound. It appears that these pitchers come out with these substances either in the brim of their hat, on their belt, or in between the finger holes of their gloves. They have these motions that they go throughout the course of the game. Pitchers on the mound do weird things, but it's hard to tell when and where they use the substance or actually put it on their hands. But there's been instances where players have come out and their brim has been completely soaked with this sticky substance, and the glove has been completely waxed in between the finger holes with stuff that helps them control their pitches. There's also been instances where it's been completely on one left side of the belt, or if a pitcher wears a sweatband around his wrist, then obviously, yeah, the sweatband is soaked in this stuff that they seem to be calling Spider Tacc. So the rules that the MLB are looking to put in place, it says no sooner than June 14th will be that the pitchers will be checked randomly by umpires as they walk off the field. Now they're expecting that these pitchers be checked within 8 to 10 times per game. And the problem with that is baseball is already a slow-paced game. This is going to do nothing but slow the game down more. But it seems to be a situation that they have to get under control. And checking pitchers as they leave the field seems to be the most time-effective way to do it. The penalties for these seems to be right now on the table is a 10-day suspension, which is kind of a slap on the wrist. But I would imagine that if you're a repeat offender after this, that the punishment will be a lot more heavier than that. So every pitcher is going to get checked as they leave the game randomly throughout the course of the game. And they're going to be checked multiple times. More times than not. Because most pitchers, the average pitcher goes about 6 innings. You can't check a guy 8 times in 6 innings. You can check them the most in 6 times. And so if you're going to be checking them after every inning, it kind of makes it frivolous. So I think these rules have been put in place more to scare pitchers away from doing it in the first place, more than actually catching these players in the act. I know the MLB does not want to suspend some of its best players and have them miss spots in the rotation. So they also stated that the non-pitchers, position players will also be checked. But if a position player is caught, they'll be more given a warning, telling to clean that area off themselves, mostly being catchers, because they will need control of the ball, and also outfielders. And substances put on the bat as well. But the punishment for them is a lot less than it is for the pitchers, seeing that the pitchers seem to be the problem right now. But I think it says a lot that you have players telling on other players and running to the league and letting the league know the situation that's going on. You have guys like Mike Trout, who is arguably the face of the league, coming out and saying he just wants to play on the even playing field. These guys like Aaron Judge, who said that, sticky substances is being used by everybody in this league, and it needs to be cleaned up and it needs to be stopped. I think it's even more troubling that the MLB seems to deal with this type of situation almost every year. It's very telling that the players all have a consensus that this has been in the league for a long time, and that a rule has been in place banning these substances, but that rule hasn't been enforced. And with that being said, players are using it and getting away with it. If they're allowed to do something, then is it really against the rules at the end of the day? It's kind of like a player on second base looking into the catcher's signs and telling the batter what the signs are. That's been a skill that they've been using a long time in baseball, but it only became a problem when someone actually used technology to do it, putting the camera in center field and zooming that camera onto the catcher and stealing signs that way. It seems like every year that the league has to deal with a cheating scandal, and it's more than just a coincidence that it's this sport that gets slammed with this all the time. A lot of these things get swept under the rug, and then baseball is seen as a sport that if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And that is a pretty bad stigma to have on a professional sports organization. The heart of sports is competition. And if you're using the unfair advantage to sway the competition in your way, then it's not really healthy competition. I seem to be on the side of Mike Trout. We need even playing fields. Everybody should be treated equally. And if we're going to slam the Houston Astros for what they did in the past seasons, then these sticky substances should be slammed just as hard as steroids was. It seems like to be something that the league wants to get control of and sweep under the rug before it gets completely out of hand. But that's only putting a Band-Aid on the problem. It's not solving it. And it seems as though even if they do solve this problem, they're just going to have another one come up next year. I'm not sure what'll be next, but it seems like every year there's going to be some kind of cheating scandal that goes on in the Major League Baseball. So without further ado, let's get to the comment of the day. I'm going to get your guys' thought on this situation. Just let me know what you guys think about sticky substances being used in Major League Baseball. Is it fair or foul? If everybody's doing it, does that make it on an even playing field? Or should it not be used at all and be banned, and the league should enforce their rules more often and more frequently? Let me know what you guys think. Let's get a healthy conversation going down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you like this type of content. And I appreciate you guys for y'all support. And I appreciate y'all for watching the video. And other than that, I'm out, man. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.